and welcome back to Concert Critiques in Cars with Emily. I'm really excited. This is my first video of 2020 and it is an awesome show. I had the opportunity to go to Alter Ego in LA and so let's get started because there's a lot to talk about. So getting there, we Ubered. I have no idea anything about LA traffic. It was fine. We got there early because they had a free pre-show and my friend wanted to go see it, I wanted to go see it too, so we showed up for that. And so the first person who played was DJ Scotty Fox, who was also playing at the beginning of the main show. So doors were at 6:30 for the main show, and he was scheduled from 6:30 to 7:30. And so for this show, the pre-show started at 3, and so he played from 3 to about 4 o'clock. And then the first band went on, which was Meyers. And so, again, not a huge female singer, so I was interested to see how I was going to like Meyers. First of all, she is absolutely adorable. I really, really liked a lot of her lyrics. I thought they were really good. There was only one song that kind of fell into the this is why I don't like female singers category for me. But yeah, I really liked a lot of the lyrics, and particularly the first song I thought was really great. The quickness and shortness of the second song that she played was fantastic. Really, really loved the last line in the chorus of the third song. So that's definitely a song that I'm gonna have to check out. So I'm definitely gonna have to check her music out. Then she played Running Up That Hill, which I actually love the Kate Bush version of that song, but really I love the placebo version of that song so much better, and she nailed it. She just did such a great job. It was so cool to hear that song live. Again, really, I'm just a huge fan of that song in general, both versions of it that are already out, and then her version just really was awesome, so I really liked seeing that. Then she asked somebody in the crowd if there was a Beanie Baby for her, and so that, I'm assuming that's a fan thing, that if you know that, and so she was like, if not, it's okay, you can keep it. And so the fan threw the Beanie Baby up on the stage for her, and she was like, I already have 2, but now I have 3. So she was just really sweet, and definitely was looking at and kind of talking to the crowd, so that was cool. And then someone gave her a rose, and she kind of knelt down for a second and smelled it. She was like, I love roses. So yeah, she was great. I thought she was really good. Really, really liked her performance. I was really impressed. The song that I didn't really love was the last song, which was a little bit really, you had this awesome set and you're just but it was good. It just wasn't as awesome as the rest of her songs, in my opinion. And then the last band to play the pre-show was Neon Trees, and I clearly have been behind on my listening to Neon Trees music, but their first song was awesome. It was a powerful, really energetic first song, so that was awesome. Really good way to start their set. They played a song then that I've never heard before, and so there were a couple of songs I've never heard. And then they played Animal, which was fantastic. I really, really liked that song, and it was just fun to see live, and it's just a fun song, so that was awesome. And then after that, there was a song that I really did not know, but yeah, so then they actually played a really well-known 80s cover, and of course, do you think I know the name of that song? I do not, but yeah, so that was a fun cover. Probably wouldn't have been my choice of covers, but it was still a good song, and a lot of the crowd knew it and really liked it, so that worked for them. They talked about their new stuff, and it was interesting because they said that Spotify is ruining music, and the stream, or not just Spotify, but I guess the streaming aspect of music is ruining music for artists. And then he was like, oh, actually, never mind, I'm neutral in this debate. And so I thought that was an interesting thing, because he said that streaming was ruining music for artists, and then he said, but I guess you get exposure that way. And so it's just definitely an interesting thing that that is something that they think about, and I mean, I often think about it too, when I'm just like listening to Spotify. So I thought that was interesting, but then he kind of was like, no, wait, actually, like, I'm just neutral. Like, no, just neutral. So that was definitely something that I personally thought was kind of interesting. And yeah, so then they played like one of their singles, which I had totally forgotten about, and so that was awesome to like see that live. And the bridge for that song like was interesting because so the previous song before that, he had talked about how his earpiece had broken and it was like not working, and so he's like, hey, like I just did that whole previous song like without any feedback and information whatsoever, and actually that song was really good. So I like liked that he was able to perform despite having broken equipment. And then so then during the bridge for the next song, which was a song I really liked of theirs, he like kind of went off stage during the bridge so that he could get it fixed, and then he came back on and he just like, it was awesome. It was so good. And then they finished with Everybody Talks, which was so great. And so like just he sang the chorus, like they started that song with the chorus, and it was sang in such a unique, like almost like old-timey way, and it was so good, and it was such a great way to like bring in that song, and it was just fantastic, and I loved every second of that song. It was so good, and again, like one of those songs that fun to see live, like just so energetic. The whole crowd was going crazy. So yeah, I really liked that. And then they let us sing the second or third chorus, so that was really fun. So yeah, it was a really great show. I actually really, really enjoyed the pre-show. It was really fun. Yeah, so then we went inside, and it was interesting because right before we kind of got in the door, I was like, I wonder if Scotty Fox is going to play the same stuff that he played, or if he's going to play a whole new set. Well, he played the same set. It was like a recording, and he was still outside, like at the stage when we left. So I obviously knew that he was not going to start right at 6:30, but also they let us in at 6 o'clock. So they actually let us in a little bit earlier than they had previously said they were going to. So I was like, oh, well, he has like a half hour to set up again. There was absolutely no setup. It was the same set. And again, like, is it really that big of a deal? It's just the like DJ before the show. But I don't know. I was like a little bit like, really? Like, that's it? Just a recording of exactly what was already like played if you were there? So yeah, that was just like my one little like moment. But I mean, again, it really was fine. It was just the opening DJ. So the first person to go on was Billie Eilish, and again, female singer, but I was actually really, really excited to see her because I had heard like such good things about her. And, you know, people said that she was like really super amazing. And, yeah, so I was actually really, really, really looking forward to seeing her, and I wanted to see, like what her set was all about. So yeah, so she, opened with Bad Guy, which again is like surprising because it's her current biggest single, so usually they end with that, so that was just like an interesting thing, but it was cool. I was excited to see that song. I wanted to see that song. Then she played her the second single, so to me that single wasn't as popular as the current one, the first one, or Bad Guys, which is technically the third one. And again, in my head, I could be totally off base, but yeah, so that was actually really cool. So she stopped in the middle and asked the crowd to like scream really loud, and it was interesting because it actually had like a really big effect. Like, it was definitely a moment where I was like, whoa, like the whole stadium is like screaming right now. So that was pretty cool. And like, I mean, like stopped the like whole thing and like waited until like everyone had like ample time to scream. So that was definitely like an interesting part of her second song. Then she played a slower song, and I liked the message in the chorus. Wasn't a huge fan of the song overall, but I did like parts of it a lot. For the next one, she asked the crowd to get low and then jump like kangaroos, and she played an older song, and I really, really enjoyed the verse of that song, but was not a huge fan of the pre-chorus. Yeah, so the pre-chorus but I liked the chorus and the bridge, so there's just that one part, the pre-chorus, just for some reason really rubbed me the wrong way. Then she played her newer single, sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate on driving right now and also trying to read what I wrote. Yeah, so her newer single, and oh, maybe I'm off with the singles thing. Yeah, so her newer single, not the slow one, but the other one. Really not a fan of that when I hear it on the radio. Like, really don't like that song when I hear it on the radio, and I can't, like, Good Girls, something like that, I don't know, Bad Girls, something. Really don't enjoy that song on the radio, but I actually really liked it live, so I was pleasantly surprised with that one, because at first I was like, oh, she's gonna play that song, and then it was like, I heard the chorus, and I was like, oh, this is the song that I was not looking forward to, so I was actually really pleasantly surprised. Then she played her, like, slower single, and I was really, really looking forward to that one. That was, like, the one song I really wanted to see. And I loved the light show. It was so good. The lights were so good. It was, like, almost too good. Like, just so fantastic. The pictures behind her were really good. It fit the song perfectly. But then for the bridge, it was like she turned like the back part like of the screen off, and it was just like these green lights. It was so good. I really enjoyed that song. And again, maybe I'm like a little bit biased because I really wanted to see that song to begin with, but I really liked that song. And then the keyboardist came out to the center stage with a guitar, and they played a slower song. And then they played another slower song, which I actually really, really liked that song. And yeah, so after that, sorry guys, my whole like, is just a little bit wonky because I wrote it in the wrong spot, so that was my own fault. Yeah, so then she ended with Bury a Friend, which I'm really glad she played that because she was like running over time, and I was like, she played like way too many songs, and she's definitely gonna get kicked off the stage, but it's Billie Eilish. Can they even kick her off the stage? Like, is that even a thing? But so I was really glad that she played that song because I actually really liked that song when it first came out, and I still like it, and I'm mad that it's not on the radio as much as her other songs because I really do like that song. But yeah, so I'm glad she ended with it too. That made it really exciting for me. Overall, she was like really energetic. She was like basically jumping around the entire stage at all times. And again, like, I'm not gonna like ding her on this, but because I heard such great things about her performance, I was kind of expecting like a stunt-ish sort of a thing, something, I don't know like what really, but I was definitely maybe expecting a little bit more, and just like in terms of like stunt things. And again, she is like supposed to have like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and so like I get why she is not jumping to like go through hoops for just this like festival, but she went on first, and so I guess I thought because they had put her first, it was like a very like calculated decision, and so that would then like allow her to kind of do whatever her big stunt was, and then they could tear it down later. But it didn't happen. But other than that, I thought she was really good. There was just like that one song that I wasn't a huge fan of, but yeah, overall I really liked her set. Then Blink-182 came on, and just so many good things happened. So they played Feeling This, which is just like such a good song. And I am not a drummer person. I don't really pay attention to the drummer most times. And let me just tell you, Travis is like just one of those drummers you just can't look away. He's so good at his craft, and it was just so nice to see them, and I love seeing them, and I just love it. Then they played The Rock Show, and I really love the dual vocals at the end of that song. And then they played a song called Cynical, which I was not familiar with, but I really enjoyed it and thought that it was well placed. I thought it was a really good placement for that song, two really like popular ones. And then again, Cynical is an older song, but I just didn't know it, so I thought that was a good placement. And then they played What's My Age Again, and he made like small changes to the singing, which I really, really loved. And I also loved at the end of that, he was like, so I like to like think that we're the only band that has a song on the radio with the word sodomy in it, and so I feel like it's like challenge accepted. Now I need to make this awesome song with the word sodomy. So I just like that he thinks of their songs in those terms, because I like words, and so the fact that he's like takes pride in having that word in one of his songs is awesome. And then they played I Really Wish I Hated You, which I loved that song, and I was so glad they played it because it was definitely like not on my mind as a song that they were gonna play, and the fact that they did was awesome. And so yeah, I really liked that they played it, and it was a great, fantastic song. After that, they played Miss You, which is like one of my all-time favorites of theirs. And they made like all these small changes throughout the song, and especially at the ending. And he let us sing the second verse, which we kind of dropped the ball on, I'm not gonna lie. He had to pick it up after the first line, so that was a little embarrassing for the crowd. But yeah, I mean, awesome song, and I really love like just the changes that they made. It was really good. After that, they played Bored to Death, and again, it's definitely, that was like a song that I really would have preferred to hear, so I was so glad, and it came right after Miss You, so it was just so good. Yeah, and so they started to do like the famous like Hey Ho from the Ramones, and then ended up going right into First Date, so that was pretty cool. And then they played Dark Side, which was a newer song, but I said I didn't recognize it, but I really did enjoy it. And again, it was definitely an interestingly placed song, because they went from First Date, which is obviously a very popular song, to a less popular song. And then I was like, oh gosh, if they end on that song, like, that's fine, it's a good song, but it definitely was not something I would have expected them to end on, just because it was, you know, a newer song and not as many people know that. But then they ended with Damn It, and they threw Scrubs by TLC in there for the bridge, so that was pretty fun. And then at like the last part of the song, they had Confetti, which was awesome. And so yeah, I really liked their set. So fantastic. Yeah, again, it's like they definitely keep me coming back for more. I could see them so many times, and I just love them. So then after that was Rex Orange County, and so they I only know the one song on the radio. I'm sometimes a fan of it when I hear it, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. But yeah, so they open with their most popular song, which is the one that I know from the radio, and immediately I was like, really, guys? So I was like, you basically just like, the one thing I knew of yours is now totally off the table. And it was good, and I really liked their set. Their set had like these colored globes in the background, so I really liked the set. Yeah, and so like the next song, it had like a slow start and then got like rappy for the verses, but then slowed down again for like the chorus. And I actually really liked the part that was slower. Not a huge fan of the rappy part, although I did like the second verse. The lyrics in the second verse were pretty good, and I felt like it was less rappy, and I don't know if it was because I actually enjoyed the lyrics to that one versus the first verse. I'm not really sure, but the second song was like a like love-hate, like hit-miss relationship for me, for sure. Then they said that they were gonna play an older song, and it was like real like jazzy sounding, like very jazzy, like jam band jazz, and I was not a fan of that. I did not like it. It was just not my favorite, but they had like an entire like brass like section, so that was like cool, like the trumpets and the saxophone and the trombones and stuff, so that was actually like a cool part of that song. But overall, it was just it was not my vibe, and I was not feeling it. The fourth song I did actually really like, and yeah, and then the last song was pretty good too. It definitely had like more of like a rock vibe as opposed to a jazz vibe, but I was like actually really disappointed, and this is why. So at the very end of their show, when he's walking off the stage, all of the globes on the stage are different like rainbow colors, and it looked so cool. And I was like, why did you not use these awesome things like this before? Like, you could have had to be so cool. And it just like, then I felt like he just wasted all of the awesomeness of his set, and I loved his set. And then I was like, wow, you just like totally missed an opportunity. It looked awesome at the end. And so yeah, so that was like just interesting. I was a little bit like, the best part of your set you didn't even use until the very like last second you were standing off stage. But overall, I was not a huge fan of them. their sound was just like very all over the place. The first 3 songs did not like sound cohesive at all, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, people complain when bands sound exactly the same and they never change, and so like I do understand both sides of the argument, but it just, I mean, I don't know, I just was but I did like the last 2 songs, which I didn't know, and as a smaller band to start with a song that is your most popular, I don't know, but I guess technically they're kind of like, it was a home show because it's LA, and if they're really from Orange County, I don't know, I just wasn't personally a fan. But yeah, so after them, Coldplay went on, and I was really excited because I have never seen Coldplay. This was my first time, and they weren't even announced until like a month later, so like that was really cool, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to see Coldplay, this is amazing. So I was really excited to see them. I was a little bit cautious with my excitement because I know that they have a lot of songs and they have a limited amount of time, so I knew that they were not going to play all of the songs I wanted them to play, but I was at least hoping they would play like, I don't know, 3 out of the 5, maybe 4 out of the 5 if I got lucky. So I guess you'll have to wait and see if they played those. So they had like a really long intro, and you know, I was like, really guys, can we like maybe stop wasting time here and like get to your show, because you don't have a lot of time. And so they played their new single off the album, which I actually really liked seeing live, and I do like that song, so I was excited to see it. And then they played Viva La Vida, which was awesome because they had like a real like strings on the stage, so I really, really appreciated the fact that they you know, had actual like people playing the violin and the cello and stuff, so that was really cool. And it wasn't just like a recording. So then they played their new song called Daddy, and I listened to that song when I listened to their full album, and I really actually liked the song. I liked the song live a lot, and I liked the video for that song, and they played it in the background on the screen, and so I really did actually enjoy that song a lot. And then after that, they made a joke about this being the first show ever that they played where nobody bought a ticket to see them, because they bought tickets to see everyone else. And so I thought that was actually pretty funny, because they were basically saying like, because you didn't know we were coming, no one actually bought a ticket to see us. You guys all bought tickets to see a different band or like other bands. So that was pretty funny. Then they played a slower song, and it definitely stuck out to me when I listened to the album, so I was glad that they played that song, because I was like, oh yeah, yep. Yeah, so that was Daddy. Sorry, I clearly mixed up my notes. And then after that, they brought a choir onto stage, and they played like a very gospel-y sounding song, and I definitely remember hearing that song on the album, and it wasn't my favorite, but I actually really liked it live, and I loved that they actually brought again the gospel onto the stage. They didn't just like have it recorded and say like, well, like this is like featuring this person, but they're not here right now, so we couldn't get them. So I really liked that it was very authentic and live, so that was pretty cool. And then for the next song, they brought out a brass band from a different country, and I'm mad because he said it so quickly and I didn't catch it. But yeah, so that song I couldn't really understand the lyrics, but the brass section when they played was so good. So I really did enjoy the brass part, but overall that song was just kind of like, just because I couldn't understand what they were saying. So again, always not fun when I like can't understand anything. Other than just the pure instrumentals, which were awesome. So then after that, they played Fix You, which I was like so pumped for when they started playing it. They played it with like a totally different tempo. It was like a little bit faster, and I'm not going to lie, it was really not my favorite version of that song, and so I was disappointed. I was like, really, the one song I actually want to see, and you're totally screwing it up for me right now. And so that was actually not great. And again, I appreciate and understand that you like want to make it different, especially because you probably like play that song all the time and it gets boring, but like just play it at a normal speed, please. And it's like such a beautiful song, and so to like hasten that was just, I don't know, it made it sound almost like cheap in a way. I again, I was sad. And then after that, they played a song called Cry, 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 which, was, again, just like not a song that I know, not a song that I really cared to hear. And then they played like another song that I didn't even recognize at the end of their set. And I really left that set being 110% disappointed. They didn't play Yellow, which I know they sometimes don't play. They didn't play Clocks. They didn't play The Scientist. So really not my favorite set. I really did actually like the songs from their new album that I did not like when I listened to the digital recorded version. But yeah, just really not feeling that set. I was so disappointed. They played one song that one song that I really wanted to hear of theirs, and they totally blew it by making it too fast. So that was really disappointing. And I was so disappointed that it was disappointing because I really was excited to see Coldplay for the first time, and it just, I don't know. I mean, again, I was impressive that they had strings and brass and a choir come on stage, and that stuff was cool, and it definitely was like, it had that like authentic feel to it. But yeah, I don't know. All right, I know, guys, we're almost done. This is a long one. But after that, Shaed went on, and so they pretty much played their set from DC One Wonderland, but they had to take like 2 songs out because they only had 20 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So the first song I'm not a huge fan of. There's nothing super grabbing to me, so that was just like, and again, I kind of knew that was going to be happening, but yeah, so yeah, that was not like disappointing. It was just like, all right, I know I'm not going to really like be in love with this first song, but again, I really liked the second song. It definitely grabbed my attention more than the first one did. And then they played Thunder, which is their current single, so that was good. And I do like seeing, I actually really enjoy that song on the radio, so I really like seeing it live. I think it definitely is better, or nice to see it live. And then she told her story about how she was struggling, and then the 2 people on stage kind of saved her and allowed her to continue with her musical career. And I do really like the song, so it was really cool to see it again. It's definitely a song that I would put on a playlist, so I'll definitely have to check that out. And so she did like this like more acoustic beginning to Trampoline, which I actually like really loved, and then she like amped it up like towards the end of the song, so I really liked that, and that's the song they ended on, so that was great. And yeah, so that was really good. I really liked the beginning of that song and thought overall their set was fine. Didn't really like the first song, but yeah, I mean, again, after seeing them so many times, I am starting to like their music, so yeah, and you know. All right, I'm so sorry, it's so long. Two more bands. So then the Lumineers, I know this is like is a mind-blowingly good list. It's just a long ass video. So Lumineers, they opened with a song I didn't know. It had a slower opening, but it had a really nice build-up. Like, I'm talking like real build-up, like slow in the beginning, medium in the middle, and then like just awesome towards the end. So I really liked that. Then they played Cleopatra, and they held a note towards the end of the song, which had a really cool effect. And again, I like any small change, so the fact that was changed was awesome. Then they played a song off their new album, which I didn't know that well, but I really liked the quick feel to the verses, and then I really just liked the chorus overall, so that song was really great. Definitely going to have to look that song up because I really liked it. Then they played Ophelia, which I really wanted to see live, so yeah, that was really awesome that I got to finally see that. I really liked that. And then after that they played Ho Hey, which I've seen that song live before, and they did the same thing that they have done in the past, where they have the 5 members stand up in a like single like line, and they all play their instruments at the front of the stage, which again for the percussionist is super impressive. But they didn't really change much, and so again, especially after Fix Me from Coldplay, I was like, I'm glad that they didn't change it so drastically that I like couldn't enjoy it, but a little bit of a change would have been nice. So I was glad to see it again live, but again, it just like wasn't really super like grabbing in terms of something that was a little bit different. So then after that they played Gloria, which was again nice to see live, but again it was like they had the overall same problem, and there was just nothing that was super different and super unique. So I was just kind of like, yeah, like it's fine. It just wasn't like, whoa, like the song was awesome live compared to what I hear on the radio. Then they played a song that I didn't know, but I really liked the piano part, like really stuck out to me. So I really liked that part of the song. And I was surprised how much I enjoyed just the piano part. Yeah, so that was awesome. Wow. Okay. So then, after that they played Angela. Again, liked seeing it live, and I honestly had no idea what their last song was going to be, and I wasn't thinking, and I've listened to this song like 3 times in the past like week because I listened to it when I'm at work, and I was blown away when they started playing Stubborn Love, because I was like, oh my gosh, how did I forget this song? It's so good. It was so good. It was so good. They had all these changes like in the verses and at the end. Oh gosh. And then they like asked the crowd to sing like loud and then low and then loud and then low. And it was just, such a great way to end their set, and so good. I love that song. I'm so glad they played that at the end, and I just love it. And all the changes, such a fantastic song. If you ever get a chance to see the Lumineers, just go for that one song, because it is so good live. Like, just so glad. And it was such a nice surprise because I just wasn't thinking about it, and it was awesome. And so I really liked hearing that song. It was so fantastic. Yeah, so that was a really nice surprise. All right, last band, guys. I know you're just hanging there. You're doing so great. All right, so Black Keys was the the last band, I guess, not even headliner, I don't know. But I was actually really kind of disappointed with the crowd because a lot of people had left. Actually, like a lot of people left after Coldplay, but then really like as the bands like continued to go on, more and more people left. And so I was disappointed because it's the Black Keys and they were so good. And I just felt like they didn't really get the crowd like viewership that they necessarily deserved, especially compared to like Rex Orange County. But yeah, so the first song I recognized but didn't know, but it was an upbeat song, and it was a really great start to their set. Then they played Gold on the Ceiling, which had really wonderful subtle changes, and I really love seeing the song live, so it was really awesome. Then after that they played Fever, which again is like just such a good song to hear live, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about that song from them, so it was like a good like, oh yeah, they play this is their song too. Yeah, so then they played 2 songs in a row that I didn't really know, but I really liked them, and I was really impressed, and that even though like, you know, they have so many hits that I thought that was a good placement to put them, right? They played a couple songs that everyone knows, and then they went and played a couple songs that maybe some people don't know, and by some people I mean me. But yeah, and then so right after that they went into Howling for You, which the subtle changes in that song were just so good. I really loved it. I loved every second of it. It was just so fantastic. Loved that song. I love that song live. It was really great. And again, just the subtle changes made that song for me. After that, they played Tighten Up, which again, so many good subtle changes, and the bridge was super fantastic for that song. So I really loved that back-to-back, like good, powerful, popular songs. And then they played Low High, which again is like such a good song. And then they definitely played another song that I know but didn't know the name of. And so again, that was like just such a great foursome. It was so good. It was all 4 of those songs, like boom. And then they played Lonely Boy, which was fantastic. And then it was so great. So they play Lonely Boy, and they're like, all right, we have like 2 more songs. And you're like, all right. So they play Lonely Boy. So you know the last song is going to be Little Black Submarine. You know it. It has to be, right? Like, what other song could they possibly play? And so everyone starts walking out at Lonely Boy, and then all of a sudden they have like this little tiny like transition intro, and they start playing Little Black Submarine, and you're like, yes. And it was so good, and I just love it because it like starts off like super slow, and then it just has this like build, and it just like he switches guitars in the middle of the song, which is just like awesome because it's so different from the beginning to the end. Like it's just so good. So yeah, awesome way to end the show. And I was like, I mean, listen, it ended at midnight. I was like ready to roll and I was tired, but man, the Black Keys really woke me up for that one, and it was just awesome. So I really enjoyed it. Okay, score time. Oh, this is hard. Really hard. Because just so many different bands played and so many different like sets happened and just so many different things. And there was the pre-show and then the show. But I think I'm gonna give this one an 8.0. The moments that were great were really great, and just Coldplay was so disappointing. Just so disappointing. It was so disappointing. It really like just brought my whole like, they should just not have come then. Like just don't come if you're not gonna play songs that people love and know. And I get it, you're trying to promote your new music, and I understand that, but I don't know. I was personally disappointed, and I wish that they had played more stuff that people and me know. And then Rex Orange County was really disappointing. Shaed was okay. I mean, Billie Eilish was awesome. She was so great, and I don't want you to think that I like am really taking a lot of credit off, but I really was kind of expecting a stunt because she was going first. And so I was like a little bit and then again, some of her songs were just kind of okay, but I really liked a lot of her songs, and again, her singles were all like really good to see live, and I was excited that I got to see her live. Blink-182 was awesome. I really liked seeing them, but yeah, I think, and like, again, Lumineers just not changing some of their songs. It's basically just listening to them on loud. And again, I loved their set. They chose great songs, and they chose the great order for their songs. I don't know, maybe 8.5. I feel like I've just told you all about all these wonderful things. I mean, Black Keys crushed it. Yeah, I think I can change it. All right. Yeah, I've convinced myself. 8.5. I think that's a really good score. Or a better score than 8.0. You might be like, yo, that is not a good score. But yeah, I think 8.5. I'm going to stick with that. And yeah, so I really liked it. Let me know what you think. Were you there? If you were, please let me know. I'd love to hear what you thought. Who was your favorite? Who were you most disappointed with? Who did you want to see? Who were you like, but then maybe surprised you? Yeah. Let me know. And if you wanted to go, let me know. If you've seen bands in a different setting that maybe they changed their set because it was a festival sort of a thing. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.